viewers at home, it's good to have you on this program, Women's World. Today we're looking at something that is very important. We're looking at siblings rivalry, and we want to look at the role of parents, especially the mothers, on how to curb out this issue, because it's really something that parents needs to look into. So many children are conflicting with each other. Some of them, even at adulthood, they still don't move, they don't flow well with their siblings. This and much more I want to look at on this program today, and I'm having a wonderful guest today in the studio that will be telling us more about how to curb out this issue. I'm having Dr. Ogundiran Abimbola. You're welcome to this program, ma.
Thank you for having me on your program.
You're welcome, ma.
Thank you.
Okay, ma. So we are looking at siblings rivalry. How before siblings rivalry, let's look at the role of parent. Let's look at the role of parent, because it's not just I think the parent really has a lot to do. It's not just giving birth to children. They really have a lot to do in bringing up these children. What are the roles of parents, especially the mother?
Well, I want to say that parenting is a huge task. It requires a lot of hard work, sacrifice, and much more. And it's not just the parenting is not just about the mother. It also has to do with the father. Okay. So both parents, the father and the mother, have responsibility to play in bringing up their children in an healthy way.
Okay.
So
the healthy way is not just out per se.
Not just
because
out,
even what World Health Organization says, being healthy is not just being physically fit.
When
it
not just when you are not sick,
psychologically, and all that.
It's not just when you are not sick. That's when we say healthy. No, in every aspect of one's life has to be healthy in relationship with your siblings, in relationship with outsiders, and so on. It has to be an healthy one.
Okay, so the parent has a lot of rules to play.
Parents has a lot of work.
You have not told us some of those rules. Like, is it just to provide financially?
Not just to provide financially. In bringing up children, it's a lot of work. You have to understand your children. You have to understand their need. You have to understand them mentally, psychologically, and so on. So it's a whole lot of work on the side of the parents in bringing up a child.
Okay, well, as parents, can one have a favorite among the children?
Yes, there is nothing wrong in having favorites among children. It becomes a wrong thing when you rub it on the face of other children. Yes, it's just normal that when you have a group of people living together or they are together, there are people that choose themselves to be, you have a favorite friend, even among your friends. You have a favorite teacher among your teachers in school. So when it comes to parents having more than one child, you have 2-3 children, there's possibility of having a favorite among them.
What really leads to this favorite thing? Or what really is it? Circumstances during birth? Is it what really makes one parent? Actually, 3 children or 4 children that you have, they are all yours. So why should you prefer one? I don't. Do you think is preferable when you love them equally?
It's sometimes there may not be any reason why you have a favorite among your children. You may just love one.
The way the person smiles, the way the person mommy,
that you don't love others. No,
but there's still one unique
yes,
thing
you just
in that
have
person.
this unique way you relate with one of the children.
One of the children, sorry.
So you and when that happens, the child becomes your favorite.
So and when these children start noticing it, that mommy loves this child more than the rest of us, or daddy loves this child more than the rest of us, how do you think the parents should handle that? Because sometimes when these children start seeing it, they start saying it. Oh, I know if it's Bola that did this, mommy will not say anything. I know if it's Shola that did this, daddy will shout and all that.
I want to say, parents shouldn't allow their children to notice when the favorites among their children.
Okay.
No, it should not be. That's why I said you should not rub it on the faces of others. So by the time you begin to rub it on their face, they become aware that this Shola is mommy's favorite, Dele is daddy's favorite. So no matter what they do, even when they are your favorites, you need to ensure that you treat your children equally. In the aspect of providing for them, in the aspect of discipline, and every aspect. In listening to them, you should give them that chance, that opportunity, that you are all my children and I love you, even though one is my favorite. The aspect of being the favorite is just that the child may have a little bit more opportunity than the others when it comes to relating or getting your attention, or you give more attention to the it's not just you don't give attention to others or you don't provide for them. Maybe it's just a little bit more.
But I think sometimes when you love somebody, I think sometimes it doesn't spare you from disciplining that person.
Yes, it shouldn't.
In that aspect of disciplining a child, is it because sometimes some parents, when they love a child, no matter anything that child does, they don't really talk. They find it hard to talk about.
Well,
is that not a way to lead that child to even do?
Then that is not love. Because a child
I think it's misplaced priority, because sometimes you don't really.
It's not love.
You love that child, but because of that, you find it difficult to scold the child.
When it's difficult for you to discipline a child that you say you love, then
even when the other partner, maybe the parents, sometimes it brings up quarrel among the parents.
Is not love. That's over protection. Over pampering.
Yeah, because even when the other party wants to deal with the child, or even the other children wants to discipline the child, you say no, it's my child, don't touch my child. No,
I won't call that love, because a child that you love,
you have to discipline. Okay,
so that the child becomes a better person in future. Because in the aspect of loving a child, you don't spare the rod. By the time you begin to spare the rod and you continue to pamper your child in such aspect, that means you are
pushing the child to something.
In a way, you are destroying the life of the child.
Okay, how do we now treat conflict among children? Because sometimes there's no how. Even when the parents did not even show that they love any particular child more than the other, you still see something that will still trigger the other one to want to cause quarrel, conflict all the time.
Yes.
Like a particular child will want to have what this one has all the time. You have yours, but you want to, anything that one has, you want to collect it.
There's no way that two or more people will be in a place and there won't be conflicts. And when there is a conflict among your children, it is the responsibility of the parent to find a way to resolve the conflict among the children. And in resolving conflicts among your children, that's where the understanding of individual child comes in. By the time you understand your child, you know which one is overdoing things. From time to time, you know the one that is disrespectful, and so on. So by that time, when you are resolving conflict among your children, you should give everyone a chance to express their displeasure, or whatever has caused the conflict or disagreements among them. By the time you give them the chance to explain, to share their mixed feeling about the conflict or whatever is causing a problem between or among them, by that time you'll be able to understand, and when you shouldn't be judgmental. Parents shouldn't be judgmental, when you're trying to resolve a quarrel among your children. Give all of them a chance. Sometimes you may not even, you only need to listen to them, and you ask them each one of them to go. And behind individual, you go ahead and talk to them. So by the time you do that, they appreciate the fact that you understand their points. By that, if child A and child B quarreled and you have listened to the two of them, okay, I've heard whatever happened. Each one of you go to your room.
But some of them want immediate.
Yes, you don't. That's where they ask. Where the parents comes in. There is no room for immediate resolution, because at that point, one of them is angrier than the other, because they have caused the other person. One of them has caused the other person to be angry. So you only allow them. Okay, I've listened to you. You go to your room. You go to your room, and you give them that space. By the time you give them that space, 30 minutes, 1 hour, they are already calm. And you talk to them individually. By the time you talk to them individually, then by the time you talk to them, you relate with them individually and tell them, okay, this is where you have gone wrong. Should have been more patient with your sibling, or should have allowed this, you have done this. And they say no more, and try to talk to them till they agree with you. By the time that happens, you can then bring them back. The two of them back. They are no more angry. They are now more relaxed, and you now bring out the issue. What you did is wrong. This is what you should have done. And you, don't do this again. Don't do it. And by the time you resolve the conflict like that between them, you have built confidence on the part of, you have built their confidence that no matter what happens, my mom is not going to side anybody. It's going to be
fair in her
judgments or in resolving whatever issue that we have.
Okay, have you seen as a result of this little thing that we think it is, or this little siblings rivalry, have you seen in a case where it will result to a bigger one, even that it will extend to the society? Because sometimes in our society we see that some people don't even know where their other sibling is staying. Maybe they are already grown. The children don't even know each other. They don't even visit each other.
Yes.
Know everybody to your tent. And recently we saw I'm just going to give a scenario of this Davido's family, that the Adele case, that their brother, they won the election. And I read comments. See, a lot of people were saying, wow, this is a wonderful family. And they were comparing to their own, that unlike their own family, that such a thing doesn't happen. So we've seen that it has even extended to the society, that they say that people don't even know where their siblings are staying.
That's where we are in the world today. People doing their things on their own. In the past, we have people living together in the same environment. They stay together, live in the same house, live in the same streets and so on. But these days, you see people go out far apart. They are far apart
But even when they are far
apart, that is not enough reasons
to call each other.
Yes, that's not enough reasons why siblings shouldn't be close. Even why they are not so close to one another. I mean, in their locality. See, and that brings us back to the upbringing from the parents. When children are growing up, parents should ensure that they should ensure that siblings love one another. They should ensure that they do things together, and in doing
like so, mandating stuff.
It's not going to be a mandate. It even starts from the parents. When your children see that
the couple, I guess,
yes, even from the parents, yes, that's a man and the husband and the wife. They are growing up, they see your siblings visiting you. They see how you relate with your siblings. They see how your husband relates with your with his siblings. Coming together, not only when there is family function, but you visit one another. Oh, it's been a while. I visit my brother. And you take your children along. You visit. They play with their cousins. they take time to talk to their cousins, or when you make, or maybe you cannot visit, you call. Okay, how about your children? You see, they first people that the children sees is their parents, and they learn from
what they see
what the
doing.
parents do. So if the child grows up in an environment or in a home where the parents relate with their siblings, it becomes easier for them to also relate with their own siblings too. They always want to be together, and parents can ensure that their children are always together, or they learn to do things together when they bring team spirits among their children. You give them
chores, and
you give them, you have them to do something, and you say, okay, you all of you do this together. When you do, okay, I'm giving you a task, all of you should be involved. And that's when you give a task and all of them are involved, it brings about team spirit, because while they are doing the task, they disagree, they will agree. So, and by the time they want to report the task to the parents, say this did this, and by the time you bring them together in whatever they are doing. So by the time they grow up, by the time they started leaving home, they go to school, maybe an institution, or they gain, they still, they miss one another.
Yeah.
Because they have always been together while they are going. So they miss one another. They may have to look for one another or call and say. So, but when that is not there while they are growing up, each person just doing his own thing, there's not really a relationship among siblings. Then in such a situation, there is no way why they grow up, they will see reasons why they have to come together to do things.
Okay. Now, what are those things that really upset siblings sometimes? Because we've not really dealt with that. Because sometimes, like, we see a mother will be abusing a particular child. You are not having, you are lazy, you are dull, you are this, you are that. Even in the presence of the other children. How do you think? What are these things that really annoys the children?
Yes, why you are correcting one of your children, or a child, maybe he's not doing well
academically, or
maybe in any aspect, it's solely on the parents. The younger siblings shouldn't be allowed to be involved, because once you allow that, they begin to disrespect the other sibling. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Maybe it's either of them. That one child is not doing well, or is not meeting expectation of the parents. Is not an enough room for the other siblings to disrespect, whether he is young or is old, because respect is respect. Everybody must be respected, whether they are old or whether they are young. Even parents must know how to respect their children.
Well, are all children born equally academically? Though sometimes we are gifted with all these children that, all of them are doing well. But sometimes when we find out that some children are not really meeting up, they have some few delays, maybe during childbirth, they are affected. How should parents handle this issue?
See, every child is unique in their own way, and it's high time that parents begin to see the uniqueness in their individual children, that they are unique in their own way. That a child is not meeting expectation or is not meeting up to your expectations does not mean that you should relegate or look down on such a child. But instead, when that happens, it is the responsibility of the parents to try and find out
solution
or how they can help the child to meet up, either academically or psychologically. That the child is not meeting your expectation or is not doing well as you want does not mean that you should write the child off totally.
I think there's still one thing in that child
there's something
that's still unique.
Yes, that you can still, they don't know. Well, by the time you encourage and try to understand what the child actually need, or in the area or aspect you really need to come in to help the child, you see, by the time you do that, you see the child performing. You know, every child has their stage, the stage in which they blossom.
You were telling me about somebody outside the studio that the person wasn't really performing well.
Yes.
At secondary level.
At secondary level. Yes, when she was in secondary school and she was not doing well, and you know, in fact, she said that the principal called her no future ambition. And today, at 25, she's already a PhD holder. Somebody that was at 25. That's somebody that has been written
called
off.
No future ambition.
Called no future. But the reason why was she able to achieve? The reason is that the parents did not give up on her. They supported her. They found out where the problem is, and they were able to help her. And today, she's doing fine academically. You know, it may not be in the aspect of academics alone that the children is not doing fine. You know, there are children that have problem relating
with people outside.
You have to understand, you know, when you have 2-3 children, we have some of them that will be an introvert. We have those who are extroverts. The extroverts can easily relate with people. When you have a child that's an introvert, you have to help the child
to talk.
because you will find it difficult to speak up his or her mind. So, but when the parents make friends with such an introvert child, you know, he will be able to gain his or her confidence, gain her faith in the society, and before you know it, begins to do well. It begins to do well and relate with people outside.
Okay, so now, what are some of the strategies that we can use to really, because sometimes when parents are correcting, when the husband is correcting the child or the wife is correcting, you see even the parents, they are not agreeing. So now, what are the other strategies that we can use? Because this is really an issue. I've seen families that have been affected because of the attitude of the parent towards the children.
Well, why parents correct their children? One thing that we cannot rule out is that we are in Africa, and we use cane to correct our children, but it should not be excessively. So why you want to correct your child or your children, you shouldn't be too harsh on them, and you shouldn't use harsh words or abusive languages in correcting your child, because by so doing, it will affect their self-esteem, their self-confidence. By the time they see you as well, daddy is going to be like this, or they wouldn't want to talk to you or share their feelings with you. It's not that you will not discipline your child. Why you discipline shouldn't be the harsh discipline. It should be the harsh word. In discipline, you have to be consistent.
Okay.
You have to be consistent. You have to be firm when you are correcting your child.
Okay, thank you very much, ma, for coming, because we're running out of time. But before we go, what is your advice to people, to parents already that are losing it? They see their children already. Oh, these children are not agreeing already.
And my advice to parents is to ensure that they relate. One, parents should relate with their children, and also encourage their children to
be together,
to relate with one another. Encourage team spirit, oneness, and love among their children.
Thank you very much, ma, for coming. And thank you, Via Saturn, for being there. You've heard it from our doctor. On to come your way again on the same program next week. Bye-bye.